Just 4 days. Just 4 days away from, of course, one of the most exciting periods in the NBA postseason, and that's NBA free agency. After what's supposedly a big draft over Victor Wembanyama heading over to the San Antonio Spurs, already well accustomed. I think they already had a cutout of him over on cardboard over in the Barclays that already displayed him being a San Antonio Spur. The kid wasn't even drafted yet, but I understand he was a projected number one pick to begin with. In bigger news, I don't know what else could be bigger news than him. He's like 7'4". We got the Atlanta Hawks making some trades. Yeah, did not suspect that. Rudy Gay gets traded to the Atlanta Hawks and a second round pick for John Collins, compensating for his $25 million contract, I think, with like 2 remaining. Even though people were projecting that John Collins gets traded for one-time All-Star from last season, Lauri Markkanen. You know, his near 7-foot frame, wing shooting performance after a breakout season out of the Utah Jazz. While sorely missing the playoffs, Markkanen was a big showout. But just to compensate over for declining trade market, John Collins being projected trade target to assist over with the Hawks. You get a rotational wing player that's been somewhat of a journeyman out of Rudy Gay. He came out of a little tenure he had with the San Antonio Spurs. I think he also played for the Sacramento Kings. Then he played over his last 2 seasons with the Utah Jazz. And John Collins now goes over to, I guess, more of a rebuilding foundation with the Utah Jazz. Not really that big of a deal, in my opinion, even though we thought that the Hawks would get more projected, exciting pieces to help with their depth, because, you have a struggling backcourt with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. They don't have much of a distributor. They don't have much spot-up shooting around their offense, even though DeAndre Hunter is a good perimeter defender. They've got some good young pieces that can actually rotate. I don't feel like they have enough to break out, because I always feel like they're just going to be that solemn 8th seed to 7th seed team. DeJounte is just a good playmaking shot creator, but so is Trae Young. So there's only so much you can select when everybody has nearly the exact same play style on that Hawks team. And I hate to say that to sound negative, but they really need better depth on that Hawks team, because they just came out of a projected 5th, 4th seed into being mediocre, even though they have good pieces like Bogdan Bogdanovic, AJ Griffin that showed out over his rookie season. No, not AJ. Jalen Johnson had some good showouts. Bogdan Bogdanovic, Saddiq Bey. There's only so much he could do in his age. So, and I think his name is Okungawu, that showed out in the postseason and got some premier defensive stops over in that Boston Celtics series that they had over in the first round. And they were coming up into an 8th seed. And they were closing out. No, they were the 7th seed after sweeping the Miami Heat onto the rug and then pushed the Boston Celtics into a 6-game series. So it's obvious that the Hawks have a decent foundation. They have a decent coaching staff, and they have some guys that build around. I just feel like their roster construction just doesn't work over to the benefit of Trae Young if they still want to push an undersized shot-creating guard to be the number one option. That I feel like they just need better leadership, better veteranship aboard this team. Because literally, I think the older players that are going to be on this team is Clint Capella and Rudy Gay. Everybody else is under 3 years into their careers. Clint Capella is pushing 8, especially with his tenure with the Houston Rockets. And Rudy Gay, that's damn near 40. So I feel like getting a premier wing that can playmaker or at least be a primordial scorer while Trae Young could still score and push it over into the defensive cut. I don't think DeAndre Hunter's going to make that push, and DeJounte Murray's going to make this push. They need to do a lot more, especially if they want to like still try to make that fringe contendership for the Eastern Conference. And in further news around this offseason, we got some signings. Orlando Robinson from the Miami Heat is now a restricted free agent after his extension over some contractual disputes, as well as center Xavier Tillman from the Memphis Grizzlies, exercising a $1.9 million option for the 2023-2024 season. And that's a big starter over on a team that, needs a dependable backcourt. I'm still questioning how big this decision is to trade a lot of your future for Marcus Smart. Now, some people might say that's exciting for the veteran guard that won Defensive Player of the Year. That's going to be stuck with a recent Defensive Player of the Year to finally get that grit and grind mentality over on this disappointing, literally second seeded Memphis Grizzlies that got shut out in the first round against the Los Angeles Lakers that were projected to not even touch the play-in until we went over to the trade deadline. So honestly, the Grizzlies were just ill-prepared, overconfident, and just borderline overrated. And I even made a video beforehand over in the middle of the season that the Grizzlies weren't going to go this far. Well, we still have free agency to see who would get over the hump and who would make those moves that can actually pull a stride for their team. So I'll keep my opinion short for the most hand. So right now, that's most of what I got for today. Thanks for watching the Sidelines Productions, and we'll be back for future content. Like, comment, subscribe, and share so we can grow the channel up.